Hi, I'm Spencer Charles Davis. I'm taking public communication and public speaking this semester, and this is my first speech. And for this, I would like to talk about my experiences in the Army, and kind of what it's like in case some of you are interested, and I figured it was an interesting topic. So, I've been an Army infantryman for 4 years of my life right now. 4 years this past August 23rd. Um, just recently got out of active duty. I was with 230th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Brigade, 10th Mountain out of Fort Polk, Louisiana. From there, I deployed to Iraq. I was in Baghdad and Al Assad out in the Al-Anbar province. Came back home and joined the National Guard because I wanted to keep my foot in the door with the Army, but I also wanted to go to college and progress myself further because the Army made me kind of realize that maybe I don't have the skills to work with people, but I still want to help people. So by becoming a veterinarian, I can help their animals and then help people. My speech is kind of going to be all over the place, and I'm going to hit different topics and different things to kind of help you get a better idea of what it's kind of like. So first, I'll start with the negatives because with everything, there's balance to everything. My first little bit of time that I spent in the Army was at Fort Polk, and Polk's definitely not the best place to start out an enlistment, and I believe that if it is your first time enlisting in the Army, that they shouldn't send you to Fort Polk. That would get a lot of guys to stay in a lot longer. There's a lot of negative stuff, like staying out in the field for, the 20 plus days, and and they kind of make it like the cutoff's like 29 days because after the 30th day, on the 30th day, they have to pay you family sep, and so they tend not to keep you out there that long. But you're out there, no cell phones, no technology. You're sleeping in the environment. If you're light infantry, there's no tents or nothing like that. If you're lucky, they let you put up a lean-to with your poncho, which is kind of an improvised tent, but it's only on one side to keep you a little bit dry. But even then, a lot of the time they tell you not to do that, and you have to listen. For my first part of my career, I had a lot of NCOs and stuff that were shooting me down for some of the awards and stuff I didn't have, and I started really getting down about it, and and then of course everybody was getting screwed over with leadership because leadership at Polk is kind of toxic sometimes. I did have a lot of good leaders too. Lieutenant Gallo was one of them. I loved Lieutenant Gallo. Sergeant Milner. Sergeant Milner was awesome. And he was really hard at first, and a lot of people were scared of him. But then when we got overseas, we found out that Sergeant Milner actually really just cared about us. And Kevin Irvine, my team leader, I still talk to him to this day, and he's still like an older brother. And I made a lot of good friends. And really, those are the negatives about the Army. It's minor stuff people don't want to do, like waking up early, working 24-hour shifts on weekends for staff duty, being out in the field like that for a long time, and just them constantly being an intrusion into your life. But that's what you give up to serve. And but there are a lot of positives, like the people there and the times and stuff remembering. And it kind of hurt coming back home because one of my first things I did in the National Guard was I went to DC for the riots, and what hurt me was seeing a country torn apart. And when we were together in active duty, I was one of 3 white guys in a platoon full of Hispanic American and African Americans, and all we seen was family. We were family with each other. They brought me food on Thanksgiving when I had 24-hour duty, and they were always there for me, and I was always there for them, and they were family. And it kind of hurt to see America separated like that, and especially for joining for the reasons I did, like defending America, and my family doing it, me wanting to be part of a job that went back to the freedom of our country, because my family, growing up here in my family, and I wanted to make them proud, and they were my heroes. But let's get to the positives. Um, so the positives, if you were to ask me right now, would you trade everything that you had to go back to Iraq and sit in the cold with the boys again? 10 out of the 10 times I would say yes. I absolutely miss those people. And in the Army, a lot of people, I wish I wouldn't have spent so much time complaining and whining about what I was doing, and I wish I would have paid more attention to what all the old timers were telling me, like, hey man, just stick with it, you're gonna miss this, you're gonna miss these people. And I do, I really do miss the people. The people are what make the experience. And you know, I guess kind of why I didn't, there's so many reasons I didn't re-enlist active. I guess one of them being that I wasn't going with the same people. A lot of the people that I was good friends with were getting out. And they tell me, you know, all the old vets tell me, they're like, well, you'll make new friends at the new unit. And it's like, I guess I didn't want that, or I was too stubborn, and I kind of wanted to progress myself and be more to society than just a soldier. Like, I did that, I accomplished that. Now I want to do the whole college thing and see and test my fortitude mentally to see if I can achieve something better and pursue my education, because I was never really good in school. I wasn't a good kid in high school. I spent a lot of my time ditching class and going to the beach with friends, and the only reason I got to graduate was I was really cool with the assistant principal. He longboarded, and I longboarded too back in the day, and I kind of just talked to him, and he told me, he's like, well, if you give me all your Saturdays up until graduation, I'll let you graduate. We'll fill out the time and you can graduate. And that's what I did. One thing I do want to hit on too is I recently watched a show called Meat Eater. Now that I'm out of the Army, it sucks. I don't have a lot of friends anymore, because my two closest friends, when I went into the Army, the girl that I was going to be engaged to a week before I was going to ask her to marry me, I found out that she had been fooling around with my best friend, Alex Knickerbocker, while I was at basic, and that tore me up pretty bad. I dealt with that by myself, because I didn't feel like telling any of the guys what was going on. And then when we got back from deployment, they were like, when a second friend of mine cheated on, or was fooling around with the girl that I was with after my deployment, that's when I told them, like, this isn't the first time this has happened. And they asked me, they're like, well, why didn't you come to us? We weren't going to make you look weak or anything. We were going to help you. And I guess that was the mentality, was suffer in silence. And so we were told at basic, so we kind of just, suffer in silence, just work through it. Yeah, but Alex Knickerbocker did it the first time, and then my other friend Aaron Driggers did it the second time. And so I lost a lot of friends, and now coming back home, it's like trying to find friends and stuff. It's like most of the time I spend a lot of my time hunting or fishing. I walk on the beach with my rucksack still, and that's kind of gets my head out of things. And thank God I have the family that I have that help me when I get out, because there's quite a few of us that get out and don't have anything to really go back home to, and I feel for those guys. And yeah, but anyway, since I'm hunt, I watched that show Meat Eater with Steven Rinella, and one thing he says that reminds me about the Army and kind of why I miss the boys and listen to Fitzy Mess. He's a rapper. Granted, I wasn't Marine Corps infantry, but being Army infantry, a lot of the stuff relates. And listening to Fitzy Mess has helped me greatly through the bad times and missing the guys, because it brings back memories. I call them on the phone, FaceTime. I mean, we're still friends to this day. But Steven Rinella, watching Meat Eater a few days ago, he said something that really hit me, and it drove all of it home for me. And he said, there's two types of fun. There's the fun you have that's riding a roller coaster, but nobody remembers that roller coaster 10, 15 years down the road. And that's a poor quality of fun. Versus a high quality of fun is miserable when you're having it. Like this past weekend, we did a movement through a swamp in, this freezing weather. And Cookie fell, my little rifleman, because I'm a team leader. He fell on his knees and then fell on his face like in the movie Platoon. And I turned around and we were all laughing at him. And I turn around and I step in a hole and I'm wet to my hip. And then I go to step to get up with my other leg, and the other leg sinks down. So I'm kind of just sitting there like miserable. And in the moment, you know, if you were to ask me in that moment, like, hey, would you do this again? I'm like, man, I'm never coming back out here again. But at the end of it, when we're done with the attack and they're done with the counterattack and everything, we're all having fun, you know, shooting blank rounds at each other, you know, pretending it's a combat engagement, and you know, we're remembering all those bad times and freezing and all that stuff. You ask me afterwards, I'd tell you 100% I can't wait to go back, because the better quality of fun is miserable when you're having it, but remembering it with the people that you went through it with later on 10, 15, 20 years down the road and laughing about it is the higher quality of fun, because you will always remember it. It will always be in your repertoire. You'll always go back to those moments. Even when I call Fields and Kev and talk to them about, hey man, you remember in Iraq when we had to carry the radios because we forgot the cell phone at the gym the one day, and you know, all those little memories back and forth of how miserable it was or how much trouble we got in has always been fun, and that's the higher quality of fun. And so I mean, there's good and there's bad in the Army, and I think it's like even now, like getting VA disability and stuff, and like them saying that I have to waive it because of, or I have to waive drill pay because I'm getting my disability. It's like, you know, even though I'm not necessarily getting paid every time I go out there, it's like 100% I still go for that chance to make more memories, to remember it with the guys and have fun with it. And I think too, the reason I'm not going back to active duty is because I actually like school now. Like, you know, I guess the first time it being paid for, I wasn't appreciative of it, and people are appreciative of things they pay for way more than things that they don't work for. And I think going back to school, it made me appreciate the education and what it's worth, and becoming more to society than just that. You know, now I can do that on the side and have fun with the guys, and I can worry on focusing and making a career so that I can progress myself in life, you know, maybe eventually start a family, get married. My dream's always been to have a ranch so I can, you know, wake up, have a 2-story house with a hot tub on the second deck, so I can wake up and, you know, shoot my guns out off on my back porch, and, you know, invite all those people over from the Army and active duty and get us all close together so we can have like barbecues and stuff, and you know, keep my family around for barbecues and whatnot, and have Sunday dinners and stuff, and try to, I guess when I get my ranch, try to do things for veterans and their families, you know, like come out and have sponsored hunts, and you know, like underprivileged kids, like have camp for them and let them come out and, you know, be a part of the stuff, and maybe do like paintball or something out there, like fun stuff for kids that come from low income housing like I did, like, you know, so, because like back in the day, Dad was stealing chickens from Bilo so we could eat. Like, I never had money, so I guess when I do get it, I want to pay it forward and try to help somebody else out. That's why I really hope I make it, and all the guys seem to say that I'm going to make it, and they all wish me well. And the unit that I'm a part of now is a really good unit. I like those guys too. And so I mean, in life, you take the good with the bad. And if you're asking me if I would recommend the Army, I would say given the chance to go back and do everything again, I would do it 100% all over again. Even though it was a horrible duty station, and a lot of the experiences were bad, and a lot of the conditions were subpar, I would still go back if the boys were there. If the same guys were there that I was with, I would go back 100%. And that's really all I got to say about the Army. I hope that you guys enjoyed my speech, and I can't wait to read your guys' speech and watch y'all's, and I will catch you guys later.